Well, hey!
Oh my goodness. Hey kids, are you with us? Oh
How's everyone doing? Oh my goodness. It's so lovely to see you.
Oh my God. And you.
And you, and you, and you, and you. Yes. How's everyone doing today?
How you doing? Oh my God.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Happy Wednesday.
Like our new set, you know.
Listen, ladies
redesigned the set.
and gentlemen, we have moved out of Studio A at Dominion's Domain to Studio B.
Yes.
Studio C and D are still under construction.
Yes,
because
they
again,
are.
as I told you, he's building homes now. So please look for, just like there's Ryan Homes and Newland Homes.
Mm-hmm.
Please look forward to Dominion's Domains Incorporated, so that he will be able to start going. And it's okay. You'll have some input, but
yes. So yes.
But yes.
So welcome to episode 105 of the BGKH Show. That's the shows for the blacks.
Black bitch.
The gays.
Gay as hell, bitch.
The kinky people.
Kinky as a motherfucker.
And all of the humans.
Unfortunately.
Yes.
Unfortunately.
Oh, well.
So, it's Wednesday. What's going on? How was your week? Just, nothing spectacular? Okay, well, I mean, anything bad?
No.
Okay.
All right. Had a good interview today. So.
Good, that's good.
You're just, it's like, all right, don't get excited until.
Show me some coins.
Right.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, a lot of hoes talking about foolishness.
Well, yeah, because I had an interview on Monday, and I'm kind of like, I keep looking for the second email to kind of tell me yes or no.
Right. So, to me, that's just disrespectful, and I hope I have. Well, there's been plenty of people that I interviewed that I didn't call back, but it was never. I've never been with someone like, hey, you did such a great job. I just let me talk to a few people and we'll figure it out. If I say all of that, then you at least deserve a call back. Well, because I'm not going to go through all of that mental energy of having all of this pretend excitement if I'm not actually going to move forward with it. I actually got this shirt on Teesprings. I'll post the link online, Cardinal. So yeah, you saw me in the shirt on Saturday, but you was a little drunk. So
you know what? I can't even speak for him. I can't even say whether he was drunk or not.
A little drunk. I mean, he wasn't as drunk as some other people at the party. So. Well, no, not nearly as drunk as he could be, but he was tipsy.
Well,
I mean, it's his house, so
I mean,
you can get as fucked up as you want at your own place when all you got to do is tippy paws it upstairs.
Tippy paw, tippy.
Oh, exactly.
But
I know you were. First of all, here come motherfucking
Listen,
Dice.
I tried.
Bullshit.
I tried.
Dice, ain't nobody asked you nothing.
What? Like, come on. No.
But first of all, Dice, stay in your lane.
But hold up, Dice. I need to go back and check that movie out that we were talking about. So I still haven't gone and checked it out. But what were your thoughts on it? Did you think it was good? We were talking about the New Mutants. And so he was you talk about that offline.
Link's the Party was being hosted for the most recent pledge class for themselves and the two pledge masters. So that's why we were there. It was not an open invite to everybody. So, if it was, you would have been on the list.
Take a chance.
Oh, girl, I don't gamble. So.
Okay. I'll see. We'll see. We'll see.
I tolerate you too.
Oh, you hated it. Okay. All right. Well, okay. All right. I mean, we already knew it was going to be completely different in the comic book, but that's a whole other conversation. We'll talk about that in here.
Links, check your text messages after the show because I do have something for you. So yeah, so your week was.
My week was it was okay. I
like this because it allows us to dialogue better. Because I felt like before we were just like at opposite ends of the sofa. It's like, hello over there, hi.
So Studio B gets a check mark.
It's a little bit more. It's a little bit more intimate.
Studio A, Studio A is more. It's more personable. It's more personal, but it's more personal with an audience. So this is just more personal. Just just to make it happen. Yes. But it was okay. Like I said, I had an interview on Monday as well. And it was really weird because I hate how some of these places are. They want to interview you. It's the person that reaches out to you, and then you figure out that they're from HR, but then they want to hook you up with the person, the department who you want to interview with, and it's usually 1 or 2 people. But this was a 6-person panel interview over the phone, and I was like, "Well, is this at least a Zoom? Awkward. Is this at least a Zoom like call or something, like I can see people or whatever?" So I'm on the phone. I'm like, the guy's name was Chris, and I was like, I dialed in, and I was like, and they were like, hello, and I was like, oh, hey, Chris, how are you? And he was like, no, this is not Chris. I was like, but he's like, but Chris is on the phone. I was like, ooh. So right there, like I'm already like, there's 6 people on here. There's 2 people from this department, 2 people from that department, 2 people from this department. And I was just like, hi, good morning, how are you? I have nothing to even look at, but whatever.
This is one of the things I hate about interviewing, because I actually I interviewed with 3 people for United, but they all knew what the job was about, so they could understand. I hate when you have those interviews with the HR people and all that other stuff, because a lot of HR people don't know what the position is. So I feel like this is why for a lot of jobs, I found that if when I do get callbacks or whatever, it's from the people who actually know about the position. So yes. When I get I don't hear back from HR, because HR people like facilities management, if they look at the scope and it says must have expertise in PowerPoint and Excel and all of this, which I have 20 years of experience, I am not going to waste my word count talking about how many PowerPoint presentations that I've done. If it says that I presented to the CEO, you should expect that was a fucking PowerPoint presentation. So I'm not going to literally say that. And so they're looking for specific words and things. And a lot of those things are implied. I'm not literally going to say I presented to the CEO. I said, I have 20 years of experience presenting to C-suite executives to, plan for operational changes and whatever, which is what the requirement is. But bitch, I didn't use those exact words because those exact words don't describe it. So, a lot of the systems for hiring people are broken. And then so what you get is dummies in the positions who regurgitate what the fuck they ask for, but don't really know what the fuck they're doing. That's the problem with the federal government too, is that people write these resumes that literally regurgitate what the requirement is.
And with this one in particular, because the position is a part of a team, there were all the departments that I would be working with. So I got that and I understood that, but it would have helped me along the way to kind of expect them to be there. And it's not like, let me be clear, they couldn't see me, I couldn't see them, they could just hear me. And so, but it's a little
7 people on a phone call.
It was 6 in total, yeah.
Well, so with 7.
With me, it makes 7.
But
crazy. It was still a little off-putting because the one person was HR and the other 5 people were from the department. So 2 from this department, 2 from that department, and the other one, I guess that was over top of both of them, how they're set up at that particular organization. And yeah, I keep doing that. I don't know what that's about.
Girl, if you put another, because my other good Judy put a hole in one of the paintings upstairs. And I was like,
let me be clear, I cannot afford to replace no paintings up in
this $10,000. This was not a $10,000.
But yeah, so but I don't know. The callbacks I've gotten have been, like you said, from those people that know the job. So I will either get a callback from them because they liked what was on paper, and again, that frustration of applied. Listen, if I say to you that I have 20 plus years, just like you said, 20 plus years of experience in enrollment management from this office to that office, bitch, I know how to run this entire thing from the beginning to the end. Now there's some things
so
that
am I supposed to write 5 paragraphs between that says I did this and that and did this and that and did this and that and did this and that? That's what the fuck the interview was for.
So and that's the funny thing so my cover letter, I try to put that shit in there because I want you to understand that it's not just on paper. I need you to understand that I didn't just put these roles and responsibilities here. Let me give you a little bit of an explanation so that you know I know what the fuck I'm talking about when I start talking about these things. And then they usually start off with, so tell me a little bit about yourself. And I'm kind of like, I'm like, okay, great. Like, here we go. So
5'10", 265 pounds, 7 inches cut.
I mean,
what the fuck?
It's like, what do you want? What do y'all want to know? So I just kind of go into that sort of stuff, and then we just get to the meat and potatoes of it. And it's always those behavioral questions that annoy me.
What Lindsay said, I think I agree. HR should be the last people to talk to make sure that you are in compliance. Like, after they decided that you are the right fit, HR should be the people who's like, oh, well, if the requirement is that you're supposed to have, this security or, you got to do background check and all of that.
Right.
They should do that. Even if they do that they can't do it on the front end because then everybody would qualify.
Right.
Someone should be like, oh, okay, I see enough of the keywords or key phrases. The hiring manager should be the ones who sort of do the initial winnowing down.
Yes.
Then they interview. Then HR is there to do compliance, to make sure that you comply with HR policies.
I get that as well. Interesting things you said in here, Links, about fitting in with the culture of the organization.
And might have said that as well.
Okay, might have said as well. Hey, Greg. So
he said, I found out when they say we just don't think it will be a good fit for your office, it means you're black.
Well, in your situation where you are currently, I'm going to agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, I hear you hear a lot of people talk about, but I have never had that. Because I've only ever lived in the DC metro area. So I've definitely been like one of few black people on the project, but I've never felt like I didn't get the job because I was black.
So the last interview that I had, when I interviewed with it would have been my boss's boss.
Mm-hmm.
First off, it was a Zoom call, and then they couldn't turn their camera on, but they showed a picture up. She's like, oh, I can't turn my picture on, and blah, 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 blah. She's like, so do you know what the actual position is? And I was like, first of all, this is the 3rd interview for the position. Well, I don't have the job description in front of me to read it to you verbatim. I know good and goddamn well you should know that I know what this position is for. So I'm like, okay, yes. And she's like, well, tell me what you think the position is. And I was like, okay. So then I start telling her all that, and then I get to the point where I'm used, because I can't see your face, I can't read some of your emotions. And because I had because of the tone of your voice, I felt like there was a bias. I immediately shut down. And she was just like, any more questions? I was like, no, I have no more questions. Thank you so much for taking this time. Because I was already turned off. I was like, we're not doing this. And it's that fit that they're talking about, where like, you don't fit with the culture. Fuck the culture. Are you going to get the work done? Like, it's great to get along with people, but what I want to know is, can you get the work done? That's how I generally feel. I work with someone right now who, for all intents and purposes, he would have never been my first choice.
Yeah.
He would have never been my pick. But when given a task, he gets the shit done. All the time. But I just don't want to laugh and joke with him. Because he talks about the same shit all the time. I'm like, can we go on to something else? Yeah. So
anytime I've had to let someone go for not being a good fit, is because they couldn't do the fucking work. It's like, I remember specifically, I'm the kind of person that gives you enough rope to hang yourself. Mm-hmm. So I gave these 2 dudes an assignment, and so they were subcontractors to us.
Okay.
And I'm not the kind of person to check in with you every day. If I say to you today that the assignment is due not on Friday, but next Friday, I'm not checking in with you until next Friday, because you're supposed to be a PMP. You're supposed to have all these credentials, which he already sort of got on my nerves. He talked about being a PMP all the time and other stuff. It's like, okay, girl. So then on Friday, you give me back.
It's just a piece
of paper because this motherfucker. So I was like, okay, girl. So let's look at this spreadsheet. And so it was me, my work wife, this woman named Kim.
Yes, Lace, that's how I feel, because sometimes it doesn't even matter what the culture is, especially right now. Right. What culture is there? We're all working virtually. There is no culture. It's a virtual culture. And I can listen. I can portray is like anything. Job done. I can portray anything in this virtual reality. Bitch, let me tell you something. I will be Jessica motherfucking Rabbit in this virtual world, bitch. But as long as I get the work done, listen. Is that what you want? You want Jessica Rabbit? Bitch, tune into my page. I'll give you Jessica Rabbit. That's just how I feel.
Oh no, for real. So it's just a lot of bullshit. But like that interview I had today with JP Morgan Chase, you know, the woman, yes, she was a recruiter, but she was a recruiter specifically for the global real estate group. So she was like, yeah, I looked at your resume and saw all of this.
That's why your ass is still there. In particular, that's why you're there, because you get your shit done.
Exactly. But yeah, so she's in it. I reviewed your resume. You know, you have all of this experience and everything. So we had a cute little 20-minute conversation. She gave me that same, you know, we'll call. But I actually feel like because she talked about, you know, well, I think you might be a good fit for this coming up. But then also there's a number of other positions coming up. She said, yeah, so give me about a week or two, and then we'll circle back. And I was okay. That was a good interview. Whereas I had not an interview, but I got an email back. It was like, I applied for this one position, which is already way junior, but bitch, I didn't need some income coming in. And then it was like, well, no, I think you should be, you know, apply to this other one. And I was like, girl, whatever, I don't really care.
Yeah.
So, like, you know, I'm fine, because let me tell you, I'm going to take this job and I'm going to do whatever the fuck it is you ask. But when the right one come along, bitch, I will be like, I'm out.
Yeah, I got to go back.
Even when I was with the Air Force, I had another job. And I was within 3 days of starting. And then the company with the Air Force called me. He was like, "You got a clearance?" I was like, "Yeah, I got a clearance. How much you want to make?" I was like, "This is how much I want to make." "Okay, can you start on Monday?" I was like,
"Thank you all so much. I really appreciate your time."
I know I have already gone to y'all office and filled out this paperwork, but this is not gonna work. So now I feel like I can't actually call them like, "Hey, I'm unemployed."
Well, I mean, never say never.
I guess you could, but
you know what the hell? I mean, call. But you know, other than that, the week was good. I've been having lots of conversation with folks, and I'm realizing, oh God, this is awful, and I'm gonna admit this publicly, so y'all can circle back around later on. I'm admitting this publicly that, you know what, me and these pillows ain't really getting along. I'm gonna need to find a boo or something, because it's getting a little rough. I'm like, I keep talking to myself. I keep talking to myself in the mirror and shit. And I'm like, it's like, ugh, the bitch is lonely. Shit, I need something like a 1-800 boo or something. Getting on my nerves. But I appreciate you. I appreciate that. Do y'all see this right here?
Does that turn you on?
Does
that make you moist?
No, let me be clear. I'm not gonna be sent to me, because that bitch fights too. Because bitch, what's gonna happen is we're gonna tear this fucking face. So
does that make you tingle in your fantasies?
God, anyway,
your undercarriage moist. But yeah, no, I understand. And if I didn't have, you know, my slave, I would be like, which is why, you know, at first I feel like in the beginning of the, well, we know you can't relate, Dice, because you a hoe.
Oh. Listen, Velvet, Pornhub, baby, listen, I didn't step my game up. I didn't subscribe to OnlyFans, and I'm on 3 different OnlyFans sites, as well as I can't remember that damn boy's name, the trans man. I cannot remember his fucking name.
Okay.
I'm on Cutler's site, and then I'm on what's that boy's name? Blackzilla.
Okay.
Which I was thrown off. I was like, wait, bitch, you.
So I follow.
I was like, bitch, you're heterosexual? I was like, what? Then I was like, what? I was like, okay.
Yeah, I can't follow heterosexuals because I need least the.
And listen, I'm fine with it.
I'm fine with you being heterosexual,
right?
But I'm at one. So what does he do if he's heterosexual? What does he do?
His dick is like as long as this fucking camera. But the thing is, I like to see with that type of meat. I want to see like the punishment, because you're punishing the shit out of people with that type of dick. It's like, bitch, that is a lot.
Other women on camera.
Yes, he is fucking the shit out of these women, and I'm like, so I kind of find myself like, no.
Yeah.
So, but anyway.
So I follow Raheem Shabazz. I'm not on OnlyFans.
Porn Maryland. Wait a minute, that's a new one.
Porn MD.
Porn MD. Oh, Porn MD. Okay, all right.
So I'm not on OnlyFans. I'm on Just for Fans. Apparently,
well, there's a slight difference.
Yeah, they pay their performers better than OnlyFans.
Just for Fans.
Apparently, yeah. Oh. But most like Raheem has both the OnlyFans and Just for Fans.
I am not on Raheem's OnlyFans page.
Yeah. So, and here's the thing: for as good as his content is, he only charges $10 a month. And some of the girls is like $20. I was like, for this old basic ass shit. So like, I would subscribe to he's
OnlyFans or Just for Fans?
On Just for Fans. And Eli Martinez, who is actually one of our brothers, or used to be, from New York. So I follow him as well. I followed a couple of other people, but I sort of let them go after I went, because I found a Chrome extension.
This is it, Just for Fans?
Yeah.
Okay. So how do I find the person?
Just type in their name is Raheem. RHYHEIM.
Oh, this is the login. I can't search who they are.
No.
I have to pay first and then go to login?
You gotta create an account first.
Okay, all right, I'll do that later. Okay, at least I know what it is. Okay, all right, okay. So Raheem, I might be, because I like that Raheem too.
Yeah. But for as good as the quality of his stuff is, because all of it is like cinematic quality, because he actually.
Cutler's is really cinematic too.
Well, because you know what it is.
And he's like $35 a month or some shit like that. Listen, don't judge me. Don't judge me.
I'm not judging you. I'm judging $35.
Yeah, I'm like, listen.
But people like Cutler and Raheem have a whole.
But I only did the 30 days. So
production team.
Yeah.
So it's not like some of these girls where they're literally holding the camera with one hand while they're fucking, or they got one of their boys. Raheem clearly has someone on his team who is being paid
to
actually film, not film and get his dick sucked,
right?
But just to film.
Okay, well,
so I probably will keep the Raheem long term, and I'll keep Eli long term. But I go in and out with others. I'll join them for a month. I feel like I got $50 to commit to this whole thing. And people come in and out of that $50, and like if you use
okay, Jeff. Yeah, he's a sweetheart. I will say that
he is. He is very nice, and
it could happen.
I've touched it. It's big.
I mean, I just
I'll touch it because he, kind of like to come up to people, like people that he considers friends, and just like put his dick on you, and just be like, "Girl, if you don't get the fuck away from me with that bullshit."
I'll be sitting like I did the first time, like, this is ridiculous, but whatever.
Yeah, so I follow a few people, and like I said, I got $50 to commit to the whole process of
Treasure Island Media was on my list for
following people, and that's about that.
I used to go and get my life off of them because they have all these little side pages up going there.
I don't like. So here's my thing with Treasure Island is that too many of those dudes look like they have drug problems. So a lot of the bottoms, I like. I'm fine with a twink, but I'm not fine with someone who looks like they're all skin and bones, or someone who's clearly 45 years old, because that's not a twink. That's just somebody who
you're an old fucking man.
Yeah, and they just look like they are on drugs or something.
That on Treasure Island fucktard. I'm like, bitch, you stay high. Like, I don't know what. you like your head has just exploded because you're like you've just been on some shit that I don't even know what the fuck it is. Like you just yeah.
And another thing I don't like about Treasure Island media anymore is that I do not like pull-out cum shots. And that's mostly what they do. So
not a twunk.
Right. But that's
Mr. Bolden. That's the
yes,
other guy. Yeah,
yes.
That's the other. Yeah.
I don't follow him though.
I followed him.
We got to exchange.
Right.
So then, like, I can switch off. And we can switch off. And yes. And
all right. Okay.
Like
I got you.
But I don't like pull out cum shots, so I don't like you. I'm about to come and shoot on their back now. No.
I do, but I like it because I like. Well, I like it because that's a fetish. I like to see it. I love to see men like to watch them come, especially the expression on their face. And if I'm doing it, bitch, I'm controlling your face. I'm controlling what the fuck happened. Champ Robinson, nah, that's a no for me. But if I'm controlling you, like it's like this is my PS4. I'm like,
it's the stroke game for me.
Like I can see your face.
Champ Robinson. It's the stroke game.
He just don't really.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
It's the broke bitch for me. No, that's what I mean. It's the stroke game for me.
Romance.
He's come back. He was in a little cracky phase for a minute.
Come on, King Brian.
But so I remember when Treasure Island first came out, they had some dirty gutter bucket shit. That was where I discovered what a devil's dick was.
Yeah.
And that was so hot to me.
Yeah. Oh my God.
That was
Christian. What's his name? Christian.
No. Max. Not Max. I know what you're talking about. There is a guy named Christian, but then
he was one of my favorites.
Dawson's. It was Dawson's 100 load weekend.
Yes, but then the other guy, Christian, did. Oh crap, he did it as well. He's one of my favorite podcasts.
Yeah, and then so all of those.
Dawson was cute, but then he flipped the game on when he like topped somebody.
Just he did that like once or twice.
Yeah, just like Armand. Armand Rizzo is Rizzo. I'm not sure what it is.
Yeah,
because it's always spelled differently, different side. But Armand Rizzo, let me tell you something. He is one of my favorite bottoms. Yeah, and when he flipped the game and actually screwed the children, I said
he did that once or twice, and that was just
I can never see this again. I was like,
it didn't put no tooth in my horn.
I just couldn't. I was like, this ain't.
What I used to love about Raw Strokes.
I used to like them
video
too.
Is that they Deep Dick used to do this. He
would fuck
somebody, and then when he was getting ready to come, they would show his dick as he was coming in him, and his dick would just bounce. And it was I was just like that.
Exactly, Mike. Yes, he did.
I would shoot the moment when he started fucking the kids and his dick started shuddering as the nut was flowing in it.
Somebody said that the other day. They said they were like jerking off to porn is easy. It's finding the scenes you want to bust to.
Oh yeah. Because I'm like, hold it.
Wait.
Hold it.
Oh, there it is.
Hold. That's the Falamon. That's the British show with the black British people. And the aunties. So one of them was aunties.
No, Justin, stay on.
Right.
Turn the camera on.
Right. Aunties at the cookout.
Yes.
And they all got the containers. And the one aunties, so they all about to bum rush the buffet to fill up their containers. And they like, hold. And that's how I am. I was like, last night, I was like, he was like, hold, and then he grabbed the bottom and just thrust it to him. I was like,
it's, but anyway, so we'll exchange these.
Yeah, kept secret. Yes, Spesh.
I don't know.
Come on, kept. Oh yes, kept secret is a kept secret. Oh, she be gutting the kids. Oh, and Midas, I agree. I cannot bust it. I mean, I won't say I never bust if I see a condom, but what I will tell you is that for porn that is made recently,
swipe left.
Yeah, I swipe left. But like in that cabinet, you see my old porn collection and all of my old favorites, like my old Lamar videos and stuff. Bitch, a condom or no condom, bitch.
They were kind of hot though. They were all
hot. Oh my God.
I think the first time I saw condom was porn, I was just like, what? I was like, oh my God, she made somebody's
Black Forest Productions. Porn from the 80s with Gene Lamar.
He is one of my favorites ever. If you've never seen Gene Lamar, listen, he's one of my favorites.
Yes, and Randy Cochran.
Randy didn't really do it.
And Paul Hansen. Randy did it for me as a bottom. He did not do it for me.
Yeah, as a top, I was like, girl.
And it's not like he didn't. It's not he didn't have a good piece.
No, he had a good piece. It was just like good body, but it was like
he just like so much. You know what it is? He just gave so much better energy as a bottom, and that's about what it is. Like a lot of these versatile guys, you know, they give better energy as a. You know who gives great bottom energy is Knight. Remember old black breeder, and
I know exactly who you are.
He's not the most attractive.
No, he is not.
And he was a great top. But like with Kept Secret and a few others, you see him getting gutted. He's one of them girls who has anal contractions and his hole pushes out.
I think that is so.
That's when I'm like, oh, bitch. Oh, his booty hole pushed out. Oh,
when that booty hole comes out, and it's like lips that are just like.
Exactly.
I'm like, yes!
It's like, did you ever see, not the most recent King Kong movie, but the one before that with Jack Black, where the huge earthworms came?
Yes!
That's how his booty hole be like. That's how his booty hole be on the dick.
Yeah. I'm not attracted to his face. That's why Jesus invented the pillow of night.
First of all, that's not even true, Justin.
Justin, shut the hell up. Shut the hell up.
First of all, Justin, you are a cutie.
Shut the hell up.
And you know what is so funny? And we've talked about this before. Whatever it is that you don't think
somebody
is attractive about
somebody
you
likes.
is exactly what other people love about you.
Listen, and the things, and it's so funny that if you think about all the men or women or whoever you dealt with, the things that they liked about you or that they were attracted to, most of them have that same thing in common.
Yeah.
Most of them.
Yeah.
And so when I sat back and thought about it, I was like, oh my God, most of the men I've ever attracted to, like they're all attracted to the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay. And I was like, I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it. I'm good with it.
Yeah. Knight can't stay hard. You know, a lot of, I think that's probably why he started bottoming Knight. But yeah, whew, my goodness.
He interrupts it. We can't interrupt the Twitter. Come on now. We're not doing that.
All right, so
come on, Justin.
Oh, you know we had a lot to talk about, but you didn't put P Valley on here.
I didn't put P Valley on here, just like I didn't put Drag Race on here.
I didn't watch Drag Race.
And then we were supposed to have. Yes, we were supposed to have conversation about Lovecraft Country. Did you get into it yet?
Not yet. I've recorded episodes, but we can at least talk about P Valley.
So come on, we might just jump off with P Valley.
I am excited because you know it's only one more episode
of what?
P Valley. Next week is the season finale, or this Sunday is the season finale.
Oh my God! Okay.
Yes. So I'm very interested to see what's going to happen with these storylines. Because first of all, Autumn's husband, Montavious, came back.
So
apparently, I think he sells drugs or does some other illegal next level shit. But she has been stealing all of his money.
But bitch, no. Can we talk about the fact that when Mercedes was walking through the crowd and they talked about this in the beginning of the show, she was like, "Bitch, you don't pick up no bitch that have this. You walk through and see how much money is this long money." And she's like, "You pick out niggas," and she walked right over to him. I said, "Bitch, come on, Mercedes." The way she picked him out, she just zoomed right in on. But then on top of that, I got pissed off at Mercedes because I was like, "Bitch, if that's your girl, you've been spending more time with her, you should know her body language and know something just the fuck ain't right."
I think that's why she told Coach no. And I think she was headed to
okay, so maybe I just because I was bitch,
to hook her up.
I'm gonna need this. Bitch, what? Let me.
So I'm interested to see what happens with that. I'm interested to see what happens with the pink itself. I feel like something's going to happen, and
there's going to be something,
and like that auction is going to come up, and it's either going to be a delay or he's going to be able to buy the pink back. Or somebody's going to buy the pink. Maybe
it might be Autumn.
It might be Autumn. That would be cute. It could be Mercedes.
It could be. Well, Mercedes
only got the 10 grand.
No, she
only got the 10 grand that Haley gave her. Remember for being in the drop.
She got 10 first. I think she got 10 first, and then she got 10. So I think she got 20 stacks. Because remember, she lost 25 at the
Her mom. Yeah.
And I think she was saying that she could help her to make. She got 10 immediately, and then she said she gave her. I think that's how.
Oh yeah, maybe it was. It was 10 immediately.
But so she has some money.
So maybe they might combine, and then they could be the
they could be the owner. So that might be some.
And it's not that Uncle Clifford doesn't have money; it's that he don't have $58,000. Right. So and they might be new partners.
That's true.
So that would be cute.
And then if the mom gets involved, it's gonna be like, what?
If Mercedes mama not gonna buy the club, we don't.
Mercedes mom is like she ain't gonna buy that damn.
And she don't even have that money. She already to put the money down on that.
Yeah, she ain't gonna buy that damn.
On her church.
She ain't gonna buy that.
So
it's gonna be either Autumn and Mercedes or some sort of combination.
Partners
and also C Murder might try to go in on this somehow in some way, shape, or form because of his little love.
Speaking of C Murder, I thought that was so cute what he did.
It was all cute and shit.
It was so cute. Now you know that shit. And everybody watching
doing that shit
knows that if your boyfriend, your boo, your date took you to the car and they done put up Christmas lights all in the car and set it all up, you give them some in that car. That's cute. You be telling your friends that. Bitch, let me tell you what he did.
I ain't gonna lie, because I be on the phone like,
wait a minute, C Murder's in jail in real life? I just saw him.
What?
C Murder. We're not talking about C Murder. We're talking about Lil Murder. Lil Murder on the show. Because that's
C Murder.
I'm happy to report that in real life, the dude that plays Lil Murder
he's married
does not have all these face tattoos and these gold fronts. And he's actually a very attractive young man.
So question. Wasn't he, I could be wrong, wasn't he the guy in Get Out that was...
I know what you're going to say. No, that's not him.
With the hat that was trying to say...
Yeah, that's not him. That guy is older.
Okay. When I first was like, I don't know if that's him or not. It's like...
So, there's the cute little scene in the car with them. But was he also fucking his business partner? Because his business partner was...
His business partner is like...
romantic.
Oh my God. It was like that. Yeah.
At first I thought it was like homophobia.
No, then I thought he was like, bitch, what about us?
Exactly.
What about us?
There's some jealousy right there. Because he said to dude, he was like, I thought you said that was a one time. So Lil Murder definitely told that dude about it.
So if I remember, didn't he catch him having a conversation or like saying...
No, that was another dude. That was a dude that he beat up in the club that he...
Okay. All right.
Saw doing something, but then this other dude who arranged for the promoter to come, when he saw them as they were coming out of the woods, when they had their little confrontation, he was giving me very jealous boyfriend vibe off of that. So I'm interested to see what's happening.
And Diamond in Mississippi, I was like, come on and kiss, god damn it, kiss.
Yes.
It was so cute. It was so
real life Drake can still get it.
Baby.
And I agree. Someone said a little earlier that Mississippi's husband is gonna die. He gonna die because what he's gonna do is Mississippi is gonna be doing her motherfucking job, throwing that fang on him, making them stacks, and he's going to get jealous and try to do some shit and pull out a knife or break a bottle or something. And
let me tell you,
Diamond is going to be forced.
Diamond's gonna ring that motherfucking bell like it's a Christmas. It's like ding, 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 la 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 la, and he's dead. That's what he's gonna do.
Yeah. It's gonna be some bullshit. So.
Sorry, Maximus. If you watch, we done. We ain't gonna talk about it no more.
Are we? What else? I feel like is there others?
Oh no, we're not done. But just
all right. So we got Mercedes. I like how a little white girl tried to get Buck with the dude. And dude, actually, the white guy's kind of cute though.
He all right. Now her boyfriend,
the one that do drugs,
he was kind of cute.
Yeah, he was cute too.
But this little the husband, he all right.
I mean, I wouldn't kick him out. Who else I wouldn't kick out? Big Al. Oh well, I don't really. Big Al. See, here's a Big Al. Call me. Big Al don't do nothing.
Big Al, call me. Bitch, what you want? I don't even fucking make greens, but listen, bitch, I'm gonna call one of my good girlfriends and make sure you have some green. Everything else I got you with, but I can't fuck with no greens and no chickens. I ain't making no chickens.
Right. What about the dude with the ankle bracelet?
The dude with the ankle bracelet.
The
across the street from her. He alright, but I wouldn't kick him out of bed. I would jump around with him. I would jump around with it. I would jump around with him. I would jump around with Diamond. Lil Murder. No.
I kind of would. Baby, he got a cute little booty on him.
No, not so much.
I would be like, girl, you got to take off all them teeth. You got to take out all those teeth.
Now how he acts towards Uncle Clifford. I get that. I think that's romantic. It's very romantic. It's all romantical and shit and shit. But other than that, no, not so much.
Do you think that Andre's sex scene with his wife was rape? It was definitely rape-y.
So
that she got into it. So I feel like when she finds out that he was frustrated for not being able to fuck Autumn, she's going to be very pissed off about them having sex because it was definitely clearly more rough than they
oh my God!
Normally do. Is that Aaron?
Oh my God!
Kelly from Las Vegas.
Come on, DJ extraordinaire.
From Las Vegas.
But that brings Michael's comment in here brings up a comment that I was going to talk about with Lovecraft Country. That scene with his wife, whether it was rape or not, there was something that happened in Lovecraft Country that I wanted to talk about. But
I'm gonna definitely watch it over the Labor Day weekend. So,
but I
won't have caught up on all because it'll
be one on Sunday. 4 episodes. So it was something that was very similar, but
it was very. I don't know if rape adjacent is the right word because.
I just had this conversation with.
If she had said, if she had only continued to say no, because she didn't exactly say no, it was like she was taken aback by the forcefulness of it. Isn't it like? And let's be clear, you can rape someone without slapping the shit out of them, but ultimately she wasn't forced because she ultimately didn't.
So I had this conversation with
it was definitely uncomfortable, and it was straddling a line of consent that I think most of us should stay well clear of.
I agree with you. Mm-hmm. I had this similar conversation with my boss about a scene that happened in I May Destroy You on HBO. Have you been watching that?
I've got all 15 episodes and I haven't watched that either.
Okay, all right. So let me. I'm not going to tell you what happened, but I'm going to set a scene approximately. 2 people that consent to having sex, and right when they're about to have sex, one person asks the other, "Do you have a condom?"
Yeah.
And they say yes, and they then start to go through the act.
So they pretended to put on a condom?
No, they put the condom on.
Okay.
They go through the act. They stop. Then they take the condom off and they finish.
That's right.
And so I had this conversation with my boss because my boss was like, well, I don't understand why you're saying it's rape. I was like, because the consent that was given initially was based on all of these factors, and this is where this was up until this particular point. And when you change the terms and take away the consent or the power to make that decision to change your mind, that is no longer consent and that is rape. But so her argument was like, I've seen people get raped. I was like,
there are different kinds of,
and I'm not
rape.
saying
every rape isn't violent, slap you around,
and that was my whole
black
point.
Eye.
That doesn't mean that it's not rape, because again, rape is about the power. It's not about the sex. It's about the power. So the power to make that decision and the consent is gone. So it was rape.
Right.
And she was like, I just don't agree to it. I was like, well, listen, we can agree to disagree. I'm going to tell you that.
All right, girl.
However,
she
even went into the slut shaming because she was like, but I don't understand. I mean, based on her lifestyle. And I was like, see, you can't do that. You cannot sit back and talk about her lifestyle and what she's done and other choices that she may have made up until that particular point. Even after that point, you can't that's
even if she was a prostitute or a sex worker. Excuse me.
I mean,
if the agreement with the sex worker is that we will only have sex with a condom, and in the middle of the act you take the condom off, then you have raped that person.
Yes, and there's no consent to say I'm going to take this off or check in with it. Right. That was rape. And so it was a very interesting conversation because, like, when you were saying rape adjacent, like, I was trying to figure out how I was going to say that in my head to her during our conversation. I was like, well, I said, listen, while it may check the box as being, as being rape, and that's on the very low end of the spectrum if you're trying to look at it from what you're saying, the way you're presenting this, but it's still rape. And so I was trying to put it to her in terms. She's like, "How's it going to agree?" So we
I think because the person identifies as a woman, I am not sure what they, she has a look that is a bit androgynous. So but you think about a man taking off the condom in the middle, and the woman then becomes pregnant. It's like, wait a minute, bitch,
how did I get pregnant?
How the fuck I get pregnant?
Yeah, you had a condom on,
right? And then you find out afterwards that he took the condom off. I mean, would you not feel violated? And rape is ultimately a violation.
Yep.
And so if you feel violated, then you were raped. So
So, but anyway, so that scene, with his wife in P Valley.
I'm pretty sure she knew something was up because it was a little bit. Because if he had been like, "Bitch, because he was like, there is nobody fucking this town, bitch, I'm about to wear your pussy out, and then they're like, girl, I'm so glad to see you, and go get the champagne, and then he was like, I'm gonna take a shower. He was like, shit, I would have felt dirty.
Listen.
I mean, I probably would have been like,
oh my God, I feel so dirty.
Right. But I feel like a woman who was married to this man would have felt dirty and not in a good way. Some. Yeah. Some would have been like, bitch, I miss you too.
Like, bitch, I miss you too. And bitch, I'm going to miss you again for the next 6 months. And bitch, we're going to do this again.
Right. And she'd have been like, you know what? Maybe I should go away and stay away for another 3 or 4 months. What we gonna do. So we can bang this out. But I'm pretty sure that she felt raped. So
we'll come back to this. Thank you for that question or that point, Mike. We'll probably come back to that probably next week on the show.
Yes.
So, but so anyway, we got a lot of stuff to talk about. We're going to probably glaze over some stuff.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to glaze over this at all. 19 families purchased over 90 acres of land in Georgia to create a city safe for Black people.
Yes.
In a place called Toomsboro, Georgia, a group of 19 Black families banded together to create what has the potential to be the next Black Wall Street. I am going to dash over a little bit of this.
Right.
So there's a woman named Ashley Scott and her good friend Wanae Walters spearheaded a movement called the Freedom Georgia Initiative, which purchased 96.71 acres of land in Toomsboro, Georgia, to establish a self-sustaining Black community. After attending local zoning and city council meetings, Scott said she realized creating a new city would create change and build real Black power. I'm not going to read all of this. I love
the idea
this
is
concept.
Amazing.
I do not love it in Georgia.
Yeah, it's a cooperative.
I feel like if it was further north, like if I had the money and someone was like, yeah, we about to buy a bunch of land out in Southern Maryland, which does have its own racist thing, but the state generally is more liberal. I would be like, yeah, perfect. Buy 200, 300, 400 acres of land and create your own town, and where you make the laws and you create this safe haven for people in the community and all of that, and we can practice this mode of cooperative land ownership.
Yep.
And I love all of those principles. And even in Toomsboro, listen,
there were probably 60 to 65 of these cooperative land ownership.
Let's talk about a few of them. Nicodemus
was one of them.
In Kansas Plains.
Mound Bayou, which was in Mississippi. Then it also is Eatonville in Florida, which many of you may have already heard of. A, because of the Zora Neale Hurston.
Yeah, she was from there.
And then B, there was a restaurant in the DMV area that was called Eatonville as well. It was a cute little spot.
Steak in that spot.
And then there was also Greenwood,
Oklahoma,
which was in Oklahoma as well. And that was the one that was actually dubbed the Black Wall Street, where there was a massacre in May of 1921. It was where a white mob attacked and killing more than 300 people. they were infuriated that a black man, Dick Rowland, had come into contact with a white woman, Sarah Page, in an elevator. And then over the course of the day, they laid waste to the town, shooting, firebombing, and pillaging the town until the National Guard showed up. It took a year to rebuild this town. And once it was actually rebuilt, and then with the Civil Rights Act of 1964, ending segregation, less money was spent in Greenwood. And so the city began to decline. And so the attempt of cooperative land ownership was made, and it was successful. And again, there were laws that changed, and so people kind of went to other places, and money wasn't being spent. And so I see that. But now,
I think that we could give it a go.
Absolutely.
Because, we're seeing shit that, we are literally seeing the police ram their vehicles into crowds full of people.
Absolutely.
So we aren't in. We're seeing a return to things that we thought. I never was like, oh, this is just one isolated incident. But we're seeing the nakedest aggression of the prison industrial police state against the citizenry. This is some shit that you used to see. We read about in the 17 and 1800s. This is some old. I'm Louis the 14th, and I'm just going to go through and crush all of the poor people kind of shit. And I honestly, I don't think of myself as a naive person at all, but I didn't think it would just be such naked aggression on the part of the police state. And so, child, not even the 60s. This is 2 centuries ago shit that we're seeing now. And so a place like this, they're gonna need more than 100 acres. You're gonna need, several 100,000. You're gonna need a lot of people in order to go in and buy in. And yeah, I agree with Spence. I love the idea, but renting a weekend house with people is hard enough. You know what it is? Girl, you got it. That even when renting a house, what's the issue, Special? Always is the right hose.
It's the right hose,
the wrong hose, the right laws.
The right hose, as far as, do you have the money or don't you? And if you don't have it, just say so. It's okay.
Right? This ain't no. Oh, girl, okay. Let me buy this house, and no, girl. If you don't have the money to buy into this, if you don't want to, and you got to get somebody that went to Howard Law School. Or any of these other law schools, these ironclad, partnership agreements, where you can't
back out.
You can't just sell your share to some white people or do something crazy, or some foolishness. And so that's it. Because again, everybody who black ain't black.
This is true. And then there's also the thing of this whole idea creates generational wealth, and you're able to pass stuff down to your heirs and things of that sort.
And think of education. You start, with that's Kendra cooking.
Sorry.
You start with it's probably easiest to start with educating your children locally. You start with preschool and elementary school. You work your way to high school.
Yep.
Then you have community colleges. Then you have a university that's there, and so now you're educating your children within this. Then you have your own police system. Because I'm a kind of, at least for me, when I say abolish police or all cops are bad, I believe that there are jobs that the police are doing that they shouldn't be doing. But if someone breaks into your house, you should feel confident in calling the police to address that situation, and you should also feel confident that when the police are there to address the situation, they're not going to accidentally shoot you in your sleep, or because you're black, they're going to accidentally on purpose shoot you in the back or whatever. They're going to deal with the problem they were sent there to deal with and nothing else. They're not there to address mental health issues. They're not there to address homelessness. They're there to address domestic violence to the extent that a violent issue is happening, but they're not there to function in the place of a clinician or other mental health professionals.
I also believe that when you are not a person that is of the people, and please define that however you'd like, but if you are not of the people, you do not know how the people think and or feel. Yeah. So some of your moves and your actions will definitely be misinterpreted because you're coming from a different viewpoint. And of the people could mean whether you are that person itself, you are from that area, you know how to. You cannot be judge, juror, and executioner of someone that you know absolutely nothing about, and have no idea of where they're coming from and what the context of that is. Yeah. So,
what I hope it doesn't become is just a fancy development for fancy Negroes.
So you understand that is always a possibility, but I think that if they are going to come up with this comprehensive plan, I think that they also need. One thing that should be considered would be some sort of coastal part as far as a port is concerned, so that you can still do other things. Again, buying land and making sure that it's you have a part of a coast that's a part of the land that you are buying, so that you can import and export things off your coastline as opposed to going outside or through your country. I mean, through your state or your land to somewhere else. Because I feel like once you get to this point, you're going to start having people that are going to say, you're from that black town, or you're from that town, okay, you can't cross into my land. It's like, really? Like, that's what we're doing? So I'm just thinking that keeping your options to import and export from a coastline as another source of income for that area. Yeah, that's all I'm saying.
Justin asked a question, which I'm going to put up on the screen, because we like to be interactive. Do you think the police officers should live in the community they're supposed to protect and serve?
My personal opinion, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree that they 100% should live in the communities, but as we've seen in places like DC and PG County, everybody, these Negroes live in the town and they still killing them niggas.
Yeah.
So I think it's more than that. I think that is just like, for certain government jobs, you can't be like, oh, I want to be the administrator for Fairfax County and not live in Fairfax County. I feel like if you want to be a police officer in a certain jurisdiction, that you should live in that jurisdiction. Yes. But that's no guarantee.
That's not a guarantee.
That there still won't be police abuse.
But I feel like you would still be a little bit closer to the pulse of that particular jurisdiction that you are working in and you are guarding and you are also providing help.
Definitely. So yes, I think we, at least, Dominion and Epic, agree that yes, you should live in the community where you police, but that doesn't necessarily guarantee that and I'm not suggesting that Justin was saying that it was the solution to every problem, but one of the things it does do is build buy-in, and it's more likely that you will know the people, know the rhythms of the community that you live in.
Yeah, so Lynch posted saying that in Mississippi, the sheriff and cops lived in the beat state police. They knew the neighbors. And he says, and I quote, Charles, Ronnie need help over there. Over at the corner bar, there's a fight breaking out, unquote. Yeah. So, I mean, I absolutely get it. And that's one of the things that I think would definitely help. Again, it's not going to solve it 100%, but it definitely, I think, would help. Cypher was saying that if the police officers will know the community and the community will know the police. Absolutely, because you need to be friends with them, because you're putting your life in that person's hand. Just like if you're going to war with somebody and you're with your troop and listen, you need to know these bitches and know what they can and can't do. You need to know that their life is in your hand, your life is in their hand. Yeah. That's my own.
I also think that, a lot of these issues, police go through all of these security trainings, but they don't go through any de-escalation training, because they say, well, he had a gun, or he didn't obey orders, or
right,
he didn't.
I agree.
They need to know how to de-escalate a situation. They need to know how to. But here's the thing: there's a component of racism in that, because I've seen, we can all point to any number of stories where police have de-escalated with white people. For instance, I saw
tune in next week and you'll get to see Dominion scars.
This white guy was visibly drunk, had crashed his car into something else, and was belligerent with the police, but they never pulled their gun. You know, he got arrested and everything, but for whatever reason, they were able to speak to him calmly and whatever. So you can't say it's not that they don't know how to de-escalate, it's that they choose not to de-escalate with people of a certain skin tone.
Could be.
On too many occasions.
Well, here's something else, and I'm not going to change the subject, but in this same vein,
mm-hmm.
There was an FBI report in Chicago that gangs have formed a pact to shoot cops on sight. They were saying a federal intelligence alert from the FBI field office in Chicago warned that about 30 gangs in the city have made a pact to shoot police officers if they draw their weapons in public. They were saying that this alert states that Chicago gangs have agreed to shoot on sight any cop that has a weapon drawn on any subject in public. Members of these gang factions have been actively searching for and filming police officers in performance of their official duties. They're saying the purpose of this, purpose of which is to catch on film any officer drawing his or her weapon on any subject and the subsequent shoot on sight of said officer in order to garner national media attention. So I don't. This is gonna. There's a part of me that is saying, damn right. But then there's another part of me that's like, this is somebody's mother, this is somebody's father, this is somebody's brother, uncles, you know what I mean? Like, this is another human life. So you shouldn't do that because, again, all cops, all police officers are not bad. I'm not going to sit back and say that 100% to the core that every single police officer is right to the core. I'm not going to say that. I can't agree with that statement that anybody says. Because I do believe as long as there's one, that does not include all. So now, are the numbers small? That's another conversation.
There are huge institutional problems that those people who call themselves good cops are not addressing.
That is true also, but then also you have to think about the context in which those thoughts, like where they're coming from. Again, their background, what they think, or how they think.
Who is this they?
Those that you're saying are, you just said those police officers that are what now? How did you say it?
These good police officers who know about all of these bad things going on, and yet they're not doing anything about them.
That is correct. But again, so here's the thing. Have you ever, that whole thing of choosing your battles or picking your battles wisely? If you have these, I can't even really give a illustration or example of this, but again, it makes me think of choosing your battles.
In Baltimore, they were planting evidence on Negroes in order. No. This is what I'm talking about. Saying choose your battles. Choosing your battles. That's a battle worth choosing.
Absolutely.
And those good cops that knew about it and didn't say anything when someone was arrested, charged, and convicted and sent away to prison for something that he or she absolutely did not do, and you said nothing, that makes you a bad cop. Yeah, you got kids. Yeah, you go to church. Yeah, we might be in the same fraternity. Yeah, you might be my best friend, but you did something horrible. You did not stand up, even if you don't want to be the person who was on camera saying it, you didn't, you were complicit. You didn't send an anonymous note to the district attorney or to the newspaper or something. You just let that shit go. So that makes you a bad cop because you know about that. The cops in LA, I was just reading something. This one cop shot and killed some kid. He was like 18 years old, shot him like 8 or 9 times. And the reason that he did that was so that he could get this tattoo as part of this gang that was inside of the LAPD. And this was all known. And all of the good cops that knew about that didn't say anything about it. That's what makes you a bad cop. And yes, you might be the deacon of the church. You might, again, be my fraternity brother, my soror. You might be my good friend. You might be my brother. You might be my father. You are still a bad cop if you know about bad things going on in your jurisdiction and you do nothing about it. And again, doing something about it doesn't mean getting on a megaphone and in front of City Hall, but if you don't blow the whistle, you don't say something or do something, then that makes you a bad cop.
So I'm agreeing with you 210%.
Yeah.
And again, choosing your battles might be how you actually address that.
Exactly. And I'm saying too many of those good, quote unquote, good cops do absolutely nothing.
Okay, so essentially they're not good cops, they're bad cops.
And that's what I'm saying. That's what makes them bad cops. And so when we say all cops are bad, it is a rhetorical statement, at least to me, that understands that you cannot, that what I say with all cops, I'm saying that the system is completely fucked up and there are too many people who are complicit in what's going on in the system. Like when the head of the Fraternal Order of Police gets up and says all of this foolishness about how it was justified to run into crowds of people with the police vehicles and all of that. I'm like, girl, I'd be like, girl, I need to find me a new job because I can't be involved in this foolishness.
Yeah.
It's like right now, there are several jobs at ICE and CBP that I am eminently qualified for because of my history with ICE and CBP. But there are two reasons that I wouldn't do it. One, I ain't doing nothing that puts me, well, really, it's all the same reason. The ICE and CBP that I worked for under, and even, I was no fan of George W. Bush, but that I worked for under the George W. Bush and Obama administrations was focused on people who were here undocumented, because I don't like to use the term illegal, but undocumented humans who were here murdering, robbing, raping, conducting drug operations, things like that. They were not targeting, by and large, people who were here to pick fruit or just working in the motel, cleaning or whatever, doing whatever they were doing. They were focused on criminal, undocumented people. I can't be a part of a system that is locking up kids in cages. I don't care how qualified I am for that job. That's what I mean. Those are the kind of decisions that we need more people who say that they're good cops to make. Well, I've heard all cops are bullshit too, Links, but as far as I know, ACAB means all cops are bad.
Yeah, I was going to say, I put all cops are bad, but okay.
But I mean, I have heard people say all cops are bullshit, but
so anyway, it's one of those things where, at the end of the day, as far as the shooting, like I said, I'm kind of torn. I'm on either side. Part of me is like, hell yeah, shoot they motherfucking asses. But then the other side of me is like, no.
Yeah, I don't want to do that because I feel like that's once you start doing that, then it just
becoming a part
easy
of the nonsense and perpetuating the downward spiral of this.
Someone did say earlier is that you have a lot of these shootings of people are done by a relatively small percentage of people, and statistically, someone who was in an officer involved. I hate, and also officer involved shooting makes it sound so dispassionate. When a cop shot someone, statistically, he has shot someone before.
Yes.
Or had some other excessive force charge or accusation or allegation or something. So this isn't this dude, pulled the gun on me and literally held the gun to my face. This person already has a history of popping off or doing whatever, or is yes, I did see that cop that got hit. That wasn't a trash can lid. That was
I didn't see that.
That was much heavier. It was like a rim from a tire. Like dude, it was in New York City or something. Dude was getting ready to get into his vehicle, and someone threw frisbee out of frame. All you see is this frisbee coming, and it wasn't just the little pop on cover. It was the whole rim from a fucking vehicle and clocked that motherfucker upside the head, and the crowd cheered, and I was like, that's gonna leave a scar.
But he probably couldn't even drive. He's like, oh, bitch, my bell is gonna run, bitch.
Yes. So speaking of police and act, what was I going to say? Something about the gangs and I am leery of this whole report because the FBI is part of the Department of Justice. The Department of Justice is headed by the Attorney General. The Attorney General is William Barr. William Barr is Donald Trump's bitch. So anything that comes out of the Department of Justice is suspect as hell to me right now.
I think that is a good place to be in as far as knowing all of your facts and where they come from. Howsoever, this is not the first for me. This is not the first time I've heard this accusation.
Okay,
I've heard it in conversation. I don't know. It was like a Facebook conversation, Twitter, somewhere on social media, and so it's just interesting to me. And then, but I also look at it because it's interesting because most of the time, when there are times not as with as much civil unrest going on. Yeah, with as much civil unrest.
Use your words, Shelby.
When we are not in a time where there's so much civil unrest, there's always a hunt, a search, a manhunt for gangs and or gang members. Yeah. And so it makes sense to me from a basic level, basic meaning a basic human or basic level of survival level, to police the police.
Yeah.
And why not? Because I've always said this, why not? Like, if you want to know some shit, don't go ask the law, bitch. Go outside. Listen, go ask Ray Ray and them out on the street, because Ray Ray and them gonna tell you the truth.
Right.
Ray Ray and them, because Ray Ray cousin is with the gangbangers, and it's like that's the shit that I listen.
Yeah, I want to skip over. I mean, I know we got plenty of time. We can talk as long as we want, but we can skip over this J.K. Rowling shit. Anyway, here's the long and short. Yeah. J.K. Rowling, y'all know she said some crazy foolishness, anti-trans foolishness. So now Rose Kennedy, who is the daughter of Robert F. Kennedy, has said they're taking away some humanitarian award that they gave her.
Yeah. So and she doubled down when she gave the award back, and she doubled down and basically said that no award or honor, no matter my admiration for the person or whom it was named, means so much to me that I would forfeit the right to follow the dictates of my own conscience. Listen. So
in other words, she was like, J.K. Rowling said, I said what I said. Okay, girl, and what you said was some bullshit. So,
but you can check out the article. It's on the LGBTQnation.com about J.K. Rowling. You can read more of it and come to your own conclusion or decision on how you feel about her. But so
there was a New Jersey teen named Emily Gill who was inspired to hold a rally in Englewood Cliffs, New Jersey, this summer after watching thousands of Americans show support for the Black Lives Matter movement. She says she notified the police in June about the protest and even met with the police chief to iron out logistics. The police went off without a hitch on July 25th and lasted 90 minutes. A few days later, Gill says she received a letter from the mayor of the town billing her for $2,500 worth of police overtime used during the protest. And of course, she sent that letter to the news, and then they were, the city came back and said, "Psych."
Right. Well, so the thing is, one of the things she talked about in this rally, she mentioned affordable housing rights, and so the mayor, who is running for election, has also said that they always bill, they always talk about billing people for the extra hours, and it was a private event, and so he talked about all that stuff. But he also says that he has addressed affordable housing. He did the Donald Trump thing where he said he addressed affordable housing like no one else has ever done, and it's like, really? But you still haven't really addressed it. You haven't addressed it at all.
You haven't addressed it. And first of all, this is bullshit. If I live in a jurisdiction, the police are there to provide whatever, then I've already paid for that service. You know what I'm saying? So if I'm having a rally, you know, and you feel that security is provided, listen, either everybody gets a bill, everybody doesn't get a bill. So if your rule is everybody gets a bill, okay, but the fact that you've rescinded the bill says that the whole thing is bullshit. And because if the ordinance, this to be clear, because in some jurisdictions, you know, you live in a little small ass town or whatever, you know, and I don't know how big Inglewood or Cliffs is or whatever, but if their rule is that, you know, if you decide you want to host a rally, security is required for your rally, and if police do it, then you have to pay for their overtime.
Yes, Links, Hunt. That's what I said, Hunt.
Then, you know, and if that's the rule, then that's the rule. And if that's on the books and that's the rule, okay. You was trying to intimidate this girl into not doing this sort of thing and intimidate others who might try to do it. But then she called your ass out and called your bluff. And then, because you're running for re-election, you got called out and made to look like a fucking fool, which you should have.
And again, they rescinded it, and so we'll see how this goes out. I'm going to keep my eye out for anything that happens with this and see because again, it was put in front of the council, and the council still needs to make a decision on it. So we'll see how this actually turns out. So hopefully, she won't have a $2,500 bill. But he also, like I said, addressed in his letter that, you know, he continues to work with resolving the borough's affordable housing obligations and hopes that the council will adopt some form of affordable housing plan that he introduced in 2018. So once again, you're still politicking. You're pushing for yourself.
So the family of Layleen Polanco, who died in solitary confinement on Rikers Island, has agreed to settle a lawsuit against the city for $5.9 million, a record for an inmate's death in a New York City jail. I
don't know if you've heard about this, but she was another trans woman that actually died in solitary confinement.
Yeah, and you know, her family did it, but I don't know her family, but you know, my immediate thing was like, well, were you accepting of her? Because if you weren't, then you just grab some cash and, you know, this woman is turning over in her grave that the family did not accept her, now got a cash payday.
And that's a good question because listen to why she was actually arrested. Polanco had been jailed in lieu of $500 bail for a 2017 arrest for misdemeanor sex work and drug possession charges. An undercover cop picked her up at the Westside Hotel at criminal complaint shows. Now, she was sent to Manhattan's Human Trafficking Court, a problem-solving court that aims to refer people it deems victims of sex work to services instead of prosecuting them. But Polanco missed court dates and her case was never dismissed. She was arrested again in April 2019 for allegedly assaulting a taxi driver. When Polanco was ordered released,
let's just pause there. Assaulting a taxi driver, the police, you know, this is when we talk about victimized communities. It's very likely that she could have popped off. But what is also equally as likely is that he tried to proposition her
and do something.
It was imposed. It was imposed. Was it peppermint? Or
not peppermint.
What? It was.
You're talking about
one of the girls from Drag Race played a character where there was a scene where she was picking up a John.
Oh yes, that was peppermint.
Yeah. She was picking up a John, and the John tried to take it in the car, and then she hit him. Then when she called for the police, they arrested her. Yep. So it's equally as likely, if not more likely, that taxi driver, whoever it was trying to get some, and she was like, no. And then when the police showed up, they believed this heterosexual versus this trans woman. So
again, when Polanco was ordered released a few days later on the assault charges, the 2017 case kept her locked up. And so she went to jail and she was actually placed in solitary after a fight with another inmate. The rules at that particular point,
fighting with another inmate, and she was in a facility with other men.
They didn't want to put her in the general population with the men. So, and they do not put trans men and trans women into the population with women as well. So they put her in solitary confinement. The problem is she was known to have seizures, and so while she was in solitary confinement, that's where she had a seizure, and she passed.
Yeah.
Listen.
So again, my concern is where were I mean, it's not a concern, but I just hope that, her family is really missing their daughter and are doing this to seek justice and not getting a payday off of, the daughter that they shunned. And, here's what I'm going to say. If you was out, I mean, people whose mother and father and support system are all around them typically aren't on the pier turning tricks. Typically.
So, which gives me pause to, well, no, I'm going to say this. Gives me pause to believe that the family really was not in it just for some of the
That's what I'm saying, because,
so, yes.
Again, if you're people that end up, I mean, yeah, do people who come from two-parent households, not that is the best possible, but are there people who come from two-parent households end up doing sex work? Yes. But a significant number, I would dare say most, trans women who are out working motels on the west side or working the pier or doing sex work are doing it because they don't have a stable home environment and other things to rely on. Then maybe they do, and maybe I'm just stereotyping, but yeah. So, speaking of someone who got their just desserts, Marsha P. Johnson, the woman who threw the first brick at Stonewall, not that white boy that they showed you in that movie Stonewall, which I have never seen and refuse to see because of that very reason. She will soon get a monument in her home city following a push from activists. The county of Union, New Jersey, on Thursday announced with Johnson's family a monument will be built in her honor on the Freedom Trail near Elizabeth City Hall. In October, the Union County Office of LGBTQ Affairs will invite the public to participate in the family planning of the project with Johnson's family and local elected leaders.
Now, of course, there was a little bit of controversy about putting a statue of this trans woman for whatever reason, and then they were also talking about the area in which it was going to be put and about possibly taking down Christopher Columbus's statue and all these different things. But again, at the end of the day, she's going to have her statue, and I think it's absolutely. I'm congratulations to her family and congratulations to us, because that is a win in the column for those that are on the LGBTQ spectrum to recognize some of the struggles that have actually gone through.
Speaking of congratulations goes out to Neicey Nash, whose her name is her legal name is Carol Denise, and she is now she says Mrs. Carol Denise Betts. And she married Jessica Betts, who I don't know who that is, but she is Jessica Betts is a singer.
Yes, she actually showed up in one of the episodes of Claws, as a matter of fact.
Oh, you see the girls? Oh,
yes, her booty.
Her booty is bigger than Epic. See, the girls is.
And you know what? So here's what the truth of the matter is. Dice. Here's the truth of the matter is, it happens, and when it does happen, and they are bigger, you just acknowledge it and you move on, because
it's not a competition.
It's not a competition, because listen, bitch, you will lose every time, because them little Debbies don't stack up against me.
Also, okay. And it was no competition between him and Neicey Nash Betts, because
and also
they ain't even looking for the same thing. She liking that.
Yeah, I mean, and so like what?
Oh, girl,
I will acknowledge that yours is smaller than mine, and smaller than Neicey's, and smaller than, and also probably smaller than her wife as well. So right. Like, I mean, what the hell?
Listen, you got a cute little booty. I mean, just be happy.
It's all right. I mean, it's cute if that's what you like. I mean, that's fine. It's cute. I mean, listen, it's been spread out. It's been spread out over Instagram and Twitter and everything else. I get it. I'm
allegedly.
I'm sorry.
I follow him on Twitter, and all I hear on Twitter is talk about the WAP.
I'm giving you.
I mean, if I hadn't seen the WAP in person, I would call it bullshit. but you know.
And that's right. According to the Deviant download, I forgot. Yes, please, Deviant, please fill me in that little bit of tea that we were talking about, please. This is one of my connections that kind of does everything. This is my good help, Deviant. But according to the Deviant download, she was married previously. She was married to
Neicey or Jessica?
Neicey. Neicey was married to
man.
She was married to two men. Jay.
Jay Tucker and Don Nash.
Right, Jay Tucker and Don Nash. And so, but this is not the first time that they have been together, because again, it was in Clause that they were together, and then there was something else.
They were just working together then.
They were, but she was, from what I understand, she was brought on the set by Neicey as well to play this particular character, and yeah, so that's all I'm saying. It's a lot. So, but yeah.
So congratulations to her, and this is how it should be. It was like, girl, okay. I mean, it's good.
I'm happy.
Very happy for her. And it was really no one's fucking business.
It makes me remember
great that she came. Not so much that she came out, that she just announced her wedding, and it wasn't this big old thing. She didn't have to be on the cover of a magazine like Ellen was, which was groundbreaking for its time.
Yeah, I'm
glad that she just, came out, lived her life, and kept it moving.
Oh, absolutely.
And it don't mean nothing. It don't mean nothing about her talent or whatever. If you thought she was if you are a man who was attracted to Neicey Nash, you have about as much opportunity to get with Neicey Nash as you did before, which was none. Because you was never gonna run into Neicey Nash, not ever.
This brought up, if you've ever seen Neicey Nash's
Neicey do look like she made good potato salad.
It was Uncensored, I think it was, on BET. Mm-hmm. She talked about when they got divorced and all this other stuff, and how she would have been like, her whole church family turned their back on her and everything else. So I'm wondering,
because she got divorced.
It was. I think if I remember correctly, her husband was the pastor, reverend minister, or something in that particular church. Okay. But I think that this may have had some play in it, because again, apparently this has been going on for a minute. But
yeah. Well, I mean, you know what?
Hey, and I'm look, you grown. I'm here for it. I'm just happy that you are happy and comfortable to put as a person that is a celebrity, put all of your business out there and be happy and 100% open about it. It is what it is.
And I always think about, we still live in an age.
That's right. So her good Judy, her good Judy, Miss Sherry Shepherd. We were talking about that as well. What does Sherry have to say about this? Good Sherry Shepherd, because apparently she wasn't really fond of the gays at some particular point.
I don't give a fuck what Sherry Shepherd has to say. So.
But
never did. For the 5 seconds that I watched The View, every time she had something to say, I was like, mute.
He's about a public will be just as loud if Mr. Nash had married a man after this divorce.
I think from this community, but not from the
community at large.
People generally have.
They're more.
I've seen they're more accepting of two women together
than they are
two men, because men, heterosexual men, for some reason have this fantasy of two women together because they can see themselves in the middle of that.
And it's like, honey, they don't want you in there.
All right. I mean, the lesbians I know, are not like, ooh, I can't wait for.
They don't want you in there.
Yeah, they're not looking at you at all. So they aren't offended is not the word that I'm looking for.
They ain't with it. They ain't with the shit.
And it's not offended, and it's not afraid. They're not
intimidated.
Intimidated, yes.
Okay.
They're not intimidated by two women, because first of all, men generally aren't intimidated by women or women's sexuality, and so therefore they don't. The way that they see women isn't any different unless they're male presented. Because if you ever notice, all of the porn, the lesbian porn that you see that is not produced by lesbians, features, big, buxom women with long ass fingernails and all of that. And yes, are there women like that? But typically,
very femme present. Yeah,
there are. That's half of that. And would you see like Neicey Nash, very feminine, whatever. Jessica Betts still looks like a woman.
Yeah,
not at all saying she looks like a man, but she is more male presenting.
Yeah.
She has more
she's closer to
male I'm not trying to, I don't want to make it sound like you have to be, but I'm trying to say that she's a more butch, she's more
stereotypical
studdish.
Okay,
so they would be offended by men because they would be intimidated by other men. Also because I've also found that a lot of men who are intimidated by gay men are probably secretly afraid that
they're going to find out.
That they're going to find, well, yes, that they're going to find out. But also they're afraid that those men would treat them the same way that they would treat women. Like, dudes that are like, oh, I can't be in the locker room or in the shower with another dude who is gay. He might be looking at me. And, I read this post the other day. I was like, the audacity to think that you're cute.
That's been. I hate you, Devon.
But I've heard this. I've heard Stutzman before.
I hate you.
But right. So first of all, it's the audacity for you to think that you're cute. And second, what that is doing is saying is that you are already telegraphing that you would lack that similar control if you had to take a shower with a woman. Like, you couldn't be a dude in, like that scene in what's that movie with the bugs? Starship Trooper. Because remember they were all integrated and the women and men all shower together. I never
tuned out on that.
The first one was I mean, for what it was
I kind of tuned out on that because it's bugs and
yeah, but they were so cartoony it didn't really look like a spider, so it didn't really do anything.
I'm out.
But anyway, so that's why I think they will be much more offended if Mr. Nash should come out.
So I just want to mention this. We talked about old porn stars earlier. I just want to mention this. If any of you remember Ron Jeremy, he was an adult film star. He has 20 more sexual assault counts and faces 250 years in prison. Adult film star Ron Jeremy was charged with 20 more counts of sexual assaulting involving 13 additional women, according to Los Angeles Police District Jackie Lacey. With the new charges stacking on top of 8 existing sexual assault charges from June, Jeremy could get over 250 years in prison when all is said and done. Listen, I don't know if you remember who Ron Jeremy was, but when I was a kid, I
remember who it was. I never watched.
I was like, oh my God, Ron Jeremy.
I never really watched straight porn.
Huge big dick. Now he always looked like a greasy used car salesman.
Yeah, but that was the thing. That was a whole this is what the average man looked like. So and
it worked for him because he was pulling out. He had he did tons of videos and movies and stuff. But listen, I'm not even going to go into the all the stuff that went on. But one of them was someone that's under 15, and so Ron Jeremy has been accused of doing several different things, and but my thoughts go out to him just for being a porn legend and being a part of my own porn.
My thoughts don't go out to him at all.
Porn memories,
crazy.
But your actions,
as many women who were willing to have sexually consensual,
I just don't agree
that you have to do. And then you think about, how things are different now, and how many people, how many other women has he sexually assaulted
that haven't come
forward, either because they, who's going to believe them? It's like,
well, these are from 2004.
Yeah, but I'm thinking about before that. I mean, we're more enlightened now, which isn't necessarily saying much. But if in 1988, you were some young girl who rolled up to Ron Jeremy's room and he raped you, and you told people, what's the first thing people gonna say? Well, bitch, you knew he was a porn star. What the fuck you go to his room for? How can you can't get raped if you go to a porn star's room? That's what people would say.
AVN?
I know. First of all, this bitch went to AVN and didn't tell us.
This is what we're talking. You know what? We need to sit down and really have
I mean, especially traveling all over the world,
and it's like,
and don't say
nothing. You'll just drop these little nuggets of shit that you've done. I don't understand. And then you're
like, oh yeah, I went to the Mexican.
I remember I went to AVN.
Yeah, I met Princess Diana in the Mexican Riviera. Yeah, it was just fun. We just hung out. You mean Die? My good friend Die?
I just can't. But anyway. Next story. So everybody saw the verses with Brandy and Monica. I don't know if people watched the whole thing, but listen, I didn't watch the whole thing. But here's what I will say: whether you're Team Brandy or Team Monica, here's some of the facts. Their verses wasn't just a hit; it was huge. The organizers say it pulled in more than 6 million views. And just to give you some highlights, there was 1.2 viewers, 1.2 million concurrent viewers, 4.2 million total viewers. There was 100 million in-stream likes, as well as 5 billion impressions. And I'm assuming that is whatever you click and point and look.
I think impressions have it includes likes and conversations.
Is that what? Okay.
The web is crawling, so they're looking for mentions of Brandy versus Monica versus whatever. So 5 billion, and it had 250,000 raised for When We All Vote. 1 million plus tweets in the U.S.
Yep.
1.9 million tweets globally. Brandy also, but that's not in here, but Brandy also noted that several of her albums made it back into the R&B charts on not YouTube, but iTunes and I think Billboard. So yeah, it was good for them. I have no dog in this fight. I don't dislike Brandy or Monica, but didn't like either of them enough to really.
I found out that I'm a closet. I'm not a closet
Monica head.
I'm a closet both of them heads, actually, because there's stuff by both of them I absolutely love. And one of the highlights of that was Vice President Kamala Harris, who called in with a live video.
Candidate, soon to be vice president, but vice presidential candidate.
Vice President Kamala Harris. Vice President, listen, my girl KK from Howard. Listen, Yoski, I'm calling it. Anyway, she called him with a live video for the two artists, thanking them for their contributions to the culture and using the platform to encourage voters to hit the polls this upcoming November. So I was happy about it. And, listen, people call my girl Monica Gunica, but that's all right. She ain't with the shits. That's just all I'm saying. She ain't with the shits. So congratulations.
There you go. Like Link said, it's Kamala.
Miss Kiki from Howard. That's what I'm talking about. Miss Kiki, she was number 143 on the AKA line. Yeah. I think
it'd be like 5 billion.
I think it was like 672 on that line. But
all right, so we do have a new verses for you, but we
just for shits and giggles. I mean, we can shoot through it.
Okay. We are going to do Sade versus Anita Baker, which is,
and I didn't put this out there, but we found this, and it was from the Twitter of a podcast. It was from Twitter at Podcast Eclectic and the Instagram of Eclectic Discussion Podcast. So we found this on there.
Yes.
On their page. And so it starts off, you have all these songs against each other. So the first one is No Ordinary Love versus Sweet Love.
With all my heart.
I'm going with No Ordinary Love.
What?
I'm going with No Ordinary Love. That is one of my favorite songs by her.
Oh. Okay, I'm not going to even keep score because I already know who I got.
So Sadie's I Will Be Your Friend versus Anita's You're the Best Thing Yet. Anita.
Yeah, definitely Anita. So that's 2-0.
Well, that's
for me.
Yeah, that's 1-1. Is It a Crime versus Giving You the Best That I Got?
Is It a Crime is one of the best songs ever made.
2-1. 2 for Sadie. 1 for Anita. What? I love that song. Sorry.
Let's be clear. I don't dislike Giving You the Best That I Got, but in a head-to-head battle with Is It a Crime?
Bitch, the drama alone of Is It a Crime is everything for me.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so for me,
that's the same thing.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so it's 2 for 1.
Yeah, mine is 2 for 1. Yeah.
Yeah, for me, it's 2-1 as well.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, but the opposite.
Okay,
all right.
So like a Tattoo or Talk to Me. I don't even know what
Like a Tattoo at all.
So I'm going with Talk to
Me. Yeah.
So that's 2-2 for me.
Someone already broke my heart.
I apologize. I
apologize.
That's 2-3.
Love Is Stronger Than Pride versus Good Love. Good Love is always for me.
Your Love Is King and Angel. Child. 2-5. Angel, hands down for me.
Your love is king. Crown you in my heart. Your love is king. All right. Kiss of Life, You Belong to Me. That's a tie.
No, I'm gonna go with You Belong to Me. So I'm gonna say 2. For me, that's 2-6.
Smooth Opera. Feel No Pain versus No More Tears.
I don't remember either one of these songs.
I kind of remember No More Tears, and I don't know Feel No Pain.
Was No More Tears? I'm trying for. I don't know. So I'm gonna leave that one out for right now. So I got 2-6.
Yeah. Kiss of Life.
No.
Oh no. Smooth Operator
and Same Old Love.
Same Old Love, baby.
I'm gonna go with 3. It's 3-6 for me.
I feel like that's a tie for me.
Okay.
By Your Side, Body and Soul.
Child, 3-7. Body and Soul was everything for me. Soldier of Love and Just Because. Now listen, the beat of Soldier for Love was everything.
Yes.
But I'm gonna go with Just Because.
Okay. Cherish Today versus You Bring Me Joy. Was Cherish Today was the one where it was like an aquarium and she had on a mermaid outfit?
No, that was rock. That is something else. Lovers Rock, I think it is. Somewhere on there.
Okay. But nothing beats You Bring Me Joy. So.
You Bring Me Joy, so that's 3-8 for me.
Nothing Can Come Between Us, No One in the World. Ooh.
3-9. I'm going with Anita.
Yeah, I feel like that too. Lovers Rock versus When You Love Someone. I
didn't even like Lovers Rock at all. So I'm gonna go with it's 3-10 for me.
Hang On to Your Love versus Lead Me Into Love is Hang On to Your Love for me.
3-11. I'm going with Anita.
In Another Time, My Funny Valentine. I don't know that I've ever heard her version of My Funny Valentine. I'm gonna trust you on that one because never as good as the first time. Ain't no need to worry. Come on, never as good as the first time.
I was gonna say 4-13. Yeah.
Bulletproof Soul versus Soul Inspiration.
I don't know either one of those, so I'm gonna skip that one.
No Ordinary Love was her in the aquarium. Okay. That fake ass aquarium. But listen, it was symbolic.
Yeah. So Sweetest Taboo and Caught Up in the Rapture.
Anita. Caught up in the rapture of love. Even though Sweetest Taboo is cute.
Yeah, Sweetest Taboo.
But listen, Caught Up in the Rapture of love.
Laying in bed in the middle of the night, bitch, you have the lights on. All you hear is.
Yes.
I'm like, yeah.
So it's Anita Baker hands down for me, but I have no shade against
I have 4-14 and that's 2 left out. So for me it's gonna be Anita. So but that was a cute one. I appreciate Mr. Eclectic
Podcast
Eclectic and Electric Discussion Podcast.
Yes.
I appreciate them putting this together. That was cute. So I will go with that. So Anita went to be the victor. But I will say,
who we need to do? We need to do. I've seen a couple.
So we have Mariah versus Whitney coming up. We just got to figure. I got to figure the rest of that out.
Okay. So, Mariah versus Whitney.
Yeah.
We need to do Luther versus. I can't even know who. I don't even know who I would. I can't even imagine
the only person that I can put Luther Vandross up against from
Marvin Gaye.
Well, no, it would probably be Brian McKnight. But they're in.
Luther Vandross would lose. I mean, I'm sorry. Brian McKnight would lose so horribly. I will be sitting with Luther here in spirit, drinking red Kool-Aid out of crystal goblets.
I don't know because let's make
a song that Brian McKnight has that is better than Luther.
You can't say that. You can't put that as a question. That's not even a fair question.
All right, so Luther versus. I'll let you choose that. Someone said.
Well, no, let's figure out somebody for Luther, but let's also do Brian McKnight as well. So how about Brian McKnight versus Eric Benet?
I don't know enough about Eric Benet to even be. I don't really have a.
Are you serious? Okay, all right. So let's do. What about? So somebody said Teddy. What about Teddy Pendergrass versus Marvin Gaye?
I will do Teddy versus Luther.
don't know. I feel like that's unfair.
To who?
Both.
How?
Okay, so you know what? Let's do that. We're gonna take your advice. Links. We're gonna go
Teddy versus Luther.
Brian McKnight versus Babyface.
Oh, Brian McKnight will lose handily.
Bitch, what?
Versus Babyface?
Bitch, no. Bitch, no.
What
Bitch, no.
You don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Bitch, no. Bitch, you are delusional, bitch. We got to go. Because this bitch is trying to put Brian McKnight underneath Babyface. Listen, I love Babyface. I think his writing talent is amazing. But that bitch can't sing a note from here to the motherfucking floor. That's not in falsetto. That bitch uses his squeeze nut voice all the time. Whereas Brian McKnight can go up to the squeeze nut voice.
Somebody posted Drew Hill versus Boyz II Men, but I was like Drew Hill versus Jodeci.
Didn't we do them already?
No,
we did.
They were on that. They was on the Super.
But see, the problem is
they sound. The lead singers sound exactly the same. They do that whole same, crying shit. I think that's what we really should do.
So Drew Hill
versus Jodeci. I will do that
one. Okay, so we have Drew Hill versus Jodeci.
Yes.
And if you do that one, then I'll do Brian McKnight versus Babyface.
Okay. And I will do Luther. See, I'll find out.
We have to do Luther and Teddy together because that's a lot.
Luther, we'll figure it. We'll figure it out between Luther, Teddy, and Marvin Gaye. It'll be a three-way.
We can do a three-way. Yeah,
I will do that. I will do 10 songs. Luther versus Marvin Gaye versus Teddy.
Okay, so
turn it off. You got what I need.
Listen,
only you,
Teddy,
baby, only you.
His live concert in Vegas.
You.
When that bitch had that little white bodysuit on, it was over that stage.
Ain't never had nobody.
Listen.
All right, so I got who I got again? So Jodeci versus Drew Hill and Luther versus Marvin versus Teddy. So those are the two.
And then I'm doing Babyface versus Brian McKnight.
Babyface, okay.
All right, and then was there a second one I was doing?
We need to find another. So I was thinking, who could we put up against Mary J. Blige?
Faith.
Which I saw that too, and I was like, Faith is going to lose terribly.
So it depends on what you're looking at, because listen, here's my take on that. Mary, Faith tries to be jazz and jazzy, whereas Mary tries to be hip hop and winds up being jazzy, and Faith winds up being hip hop. It's like they
only know 2 or 3 songs by Faith Evans.
Bitch, please. I have had some moments with Faith Evans because that Wipe Your Tears Away from the Have Plenty soundtrack. Bitch, I am all over it. And
plus, like that meme I posted, or no, I think Midas said it originally. It was like no one goes to the club and be like, "Ooh, I can't wait to hear some Faith."
Faith's album, it was a gospel song that she sang.
I'll be missing you.
No. This is I have the CD. It's amazing.
Wait a minute. You
Faith or Keisha Cole? Keisha Cole ain't even in that category with Faith.
Keisha Cole, right? Listen, I
like Keisha.
I don't dislike. I mean, I'm when I say Faith will lose against Mary J. Blige, this does not mean I don't love Faith. Right. Keisha Cole ain't even in the same league.
All right. So
what's he gonna do?
All right, so I'll do Faith and Mary.
Okay.
And I'll do Faith and Mary, and I'll do Brian versus Eric. Yeah, we said Brian McKnight versus Eric Benet. Is that what it was?
Okay.
Yeah. But you don't know any of the songs, though.
Yeah, I don't really know nothing.
Okay, so I'm going to still do Brian. I'm going to post both of them so everybody else can vote as well. Okay. So, in fact, when I post Brian versus Eric Benet, I'm gonna need y'all to vote. I'm gonna need y'all to.
You can go back to that 64 that we had to choose pairings too for future ones.
64.
The 64, the.
Oh yeah. Okay, we can go back to that. Okay,
we can go back to that.
So, but
there were a lot of.
It was a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, a lot of good stuff.
On there.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what I come up with. Luther versus Marvin versus Teddy.
Yeah, because the thing is,
but they really have completely.
They all do. That's where it's like. It's kind of like because Teddy is not even Teddy. Teddy can be soft, but that bitch is just rough all the time. He's like, and Luther is Luther can't be hard
all the time.
He just smooth. And Marvin, so I think
now that's a good one. Gap Band versus Earth, Wind and Fire.
Eric Benet versus Lenny Kravitz. Lynx, I like both of them, but I'm not really. I can't really. So how about Eric Benet versus Maxwell? Now I'll go with that.
You can do it.
I'll do so. How about I do Eric Benet versus Maxwell? I'll do that. Yeah, I gotta find somebody else for Brian McKnight. I'll find somebody else for Brian McKnight because Brian McKnight is gonna slay somebody, and I don't know who that's gonna be, but I'll figure it out. Because listen, I'm Team Brian. Barry White versus Luther.
Now that could work, but
that could work. But Barry's. But then again, I was gonna say the instrumentation with Barry is one thing, but then again, the instrumentation with Luther was everything as well because he was a perfectionist with that. So I don't know. We gotta do a. Well, we can't do one hit wonders because
we could do a battle of the one hit wonders. It could just be name artists of one hit versus one hit.
We got to give
like "Try Me" by Jasmine Guy versus whatever that song Tisha Campbell had.
Thank you all, ladies and gentlemen, for coming. We appreciate you all.
Woo, man, I got lightheaded.
I'm gonna need y'all to get into our listen. The process is get into our credits that roll up, and then we come back. So just stay tuned for just like 30 seconds, but just get into all this information. It's all our contact information. So see it below. So check it out. We'll be right back. That was funny.
I got lightheaded off of that one. Try. Exactly.
She has some cute little numbers.
Who?
Yeah, she did.
All right, yeah. So try me, won't you? That was a cute song.
It was a cute song. She had some cute look. Like I like the visuals and her dancing and stuff. Mm-hmm. She was a dancer, so I'll give her that. And you know, I just that's right, Tyra. We moving on up, Tyra.
Yes.
Thank you all for tuning in, though. But listen, we're gonna come up with a couple more verses, and we're gonna have some stuff for y'all, and we're gonna try to involve y'all as much as possible. Don't forget to use our email address as well to send us your stuff. We're gonna try to put the verses out there sooner, like at least the day before the show, so you'll have the information.
Well, so we can announce who the verses will be. So like next week, I'll be ready to do Luther versus Marvin versus Teddy.
Do you want to do two, or do you want to do like you want to have
do one a week?
Okay, we'll do one a week. So
because
Luther versus Teddy.
So
I'll put okay. Yeah. So all right. So Luther versus Teddy is going to be Luther versus Teddy versus Marvin is going to be next week. It's going to be a 3-way.
Yes.
So that's what we're going to do. But listen, again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for spending your time with us this evening. We absolutely appreciate you coming into Studio B. And listen, as always, stay safe, be good to yourselves, be good to others.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Buckle my shoe. Toodly doo.
Right. Thank y'all for coming out. God bless you and good night.
Mwah.
We love you back.